I have an ancestor named Sanford Porter, and when he was a young man, he was an atheist. He described himself, he wrote an autobiography, and he described himself in the autobiography as an infidel. That he didn't believe in anything that wasn't material, so he was a materialist, that anything that you couldn't see, like a spirit, he didn't believe that those existed. And he would debate. This was during the Second Great Awakening, so the 1820s, 1830s or so, 1820s. And he would debate with the traveling preachers who would come by, and he knew the Bible well, and he would debate with his family. His family was religious, but he wasn't. And then one day his father died, and that made him go into kind of a existential crisis. He began to really wonder, well, is there a God? Before, he was fairly confident that there wasn't. But the death of his father kind of made him rethink things. And he got to the point where he wouldn't sleep, he wouldn't eat. He would talk to himself out while he's working in his fields, and he said that he imagined people thought he was crazy. And so one day he went into a barn and he prayed, and he said, God, if you're a God, if you exist, essentially let me know. And he heard a voice that said that God did exist, and that he would be shown this night everything that he needed to know. And he thought that someone was playing a trick on him. He had debated with some Methodist preachers earlier, and he thought that one of them had like snuck back to play a trick on him, to say, hey, we're gonna trick you, and we're gonna talk through the door. So what he did is he got a cudgel, he got a stick, to a club, and he walked around the barn trying to find people who might be hiding in the barn. He looked in barrels, went upstairs in the loft. Then he said, well, maybe they were outside, and he looked outside, and a light snow had fallen, and so he's like, aha, there'll be footprints, so I'll be able to catch whoever was trying to play this trick on me. And he walked around, and there weren't any footprints, walked around the whole barn, and he went, and eventually went to bed. And when he goes to bed, he has this dream where an angel appears to him. And the angel talks to him about the gospel, and talks to him about Jesus Christ. And when he woke up the next day, he was convinced that God existed, and that he shouldn't be a non-believer anymore. And he went and he told people about his visions, and he came across some missionaries for the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints, and he converted because they preached a gospel that coincided with what the angel told him in his dreams. And so he was converted.